What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to be showing you how you can set up your own virtual fan experience in Microsoft Teams. One of the biggest use cases that we've seen over the past months is the one of the NBA, the National Basketball Association, that's using this to create the NBA fan or virtual fan experience, which is all happening in Microsoft Teams. Now, on one side, you have the audience sitting in a virtual stance. They can talk amongst each other about the game, and on the other pane, you will see the live stream of the event that's happening. Now, this works great for sports, but it also works for concerts. You can stream the concert, have the people sitting in the virtual audience, and then maybe even do meet and greets afterwards. In today's case, we'll have a DJ that will be performing, and he's going to show you how he has set up his end of the stream to get this working. Another thing, school plays I think are great to do this way, where you can have all the parents and relatives and friends sitting in the audience while the play is happening, so you can at least see what these kids have been practicing for all these months, especially in these times of lockdown where we cannot be there in person. Now, if you set this up, anything outside from family and friends, you need to make sure that you provision usernames and passwords. And this is a little bit more technical than the tutorials that I've shown you previously. What you also have to consider is, do you want to do this in your own Office 365 tenant, or do you want to set up a separate Office 365 tenant? Now, my personal advice is to set up a separate Office 365 tenant. You need to also get licenses for these users. An F1 Office 365 F1 license is more than sufficient, so that's how you can start. And then you need E3 license, Office 365 E3 license for the admins that are going to play their part in this experience. So let's jump right in and let me show you how you can set this up. First thing you do is you create two different themes. One is for the admins, so that are going to be taking care of the provisioning, and then one is for the experience itself. As you see, there's a meeting later today where the DJ has a live set that he's going to be performing and doing some Q&A with us as well. What you'll see if you go into Azure Active Directory, and this is where you need access to through admin access, is you'll see that there are two groups automatically created once you create the teams. One is the virtual fan experience, and then the other one is admin. This code is the one that you're going to be using later on to fill out in the Power Automate flow to create the users and add them to this group. What you also need to do is you need to add licenses to the people in this group. And the way you set this up is you go to licenses, you go into all products, you select the license, you assign them to a group, and then you fill out the group name right here on the right. I've already set this up, so there's no real option to do it, but that's the way how you assign these licenses. So what happens is every time a new user is part of the group, they'll also get that license. Then the next thing that you can do is you can use a form as a sign-up form for the to kickstart the process. And what the people that want to take part in this experience need to do is fill out their first name, their last name, their email address, maybe their phone number, and then add some comments as well. This is also a nice opportunity to create terms and conditions saying, hey, if you misbehave during the call, we can always kick you. We're going to be using your information for marketing, whatever you want to do. But this is the place to create those terms and conditions. And if you've never set up a form, go to forms.microsoft.com to get started. And setting this up really takes literally 2 minutes. Now, this part is a little bit more complicated. Look at some previous videos to start getting to know Power Automate and really see how you kickstart this part. It's as simple as clicking create and then selecting when a new response is submitted. So what this does, it's pulling all the details, the response details from the form that we've just created. And we're going to be using that information to do a couple of things. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a approval. So this is a new VIP request. This is the person that is going to be approving all of these requests. And this person is going to get an email saying, hey, a new VIP has requested access, was submitted on. And this information all comes from the list of responses. So once you fill the top part up here in, then you'll get this dynamic content. All you need to do is just click here on the white space, and then you can add all of these different pieces of dynamic content that you're retrieving from pulling from that form that has been filled out. So what I'm pulling from it is the submission time, the first name, the last name, the email address, and then whether or not this person has clicked on I agree for the terms. Now it's cool that this is all happening in email, but what I really want is I want to have an adaptive card that's going to be on Teams that I can just click approve on to start the whole process. So this adaptive card is going to be posted in a virtual fans admin team. That's the team that we have just created, and this is the channel. Now you could select the channel straight from here, or you could use the address. And let me show you real quick, because I did this on purpose. Let me show you how to get this information. If you go back to the experience and you go back to the provisioning, because this is the part that we're working on, provisioning, and you're going to get the link to the channel. You get a full link. Let me copy it and paste it here so you can see what it is. Now this part starting at 19 and ending at TACV2, that's the code or the address of the channel. The group, so the team, has this code. And then your whole tenant, that's this code right here. This stuff comes in handy when you're doing some more advanced programming. I just wanted to show you the options of how to set this up. So this is the channel that we're going to be posting the adaptive card in, and then the message is going to be the adaptive card. Again, if you're using this approval flow, it'll come up as a piece of dynamic content. So the adaptive card is a part of it. Next step, we're going to wait for the approval, and then once the approval has happened, what we need to do is we need to create a user and then add it to the group of the team. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to initiate the tenant domain. You want to pull the domain name because you're going to need that later. Use domain type string, and then the value is the value of your domain. So in this case, my address is m365x28, etc. In your case, it might be @contoso.com or whatever your domain is. Make sure that you add the @ symbol here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a random password, and this is the password that the user is going to be using to log in the first time that they open the Teams application. Mind you, they also have to reset the password into their own choice. And then we could use the name to create the nickname, but what we can also do is create a random name for this user. Now we're going to create the user. Again, we're going to be pulling information from the previous steps. So we're going to enable the account. This is yes or no. In this case, it's yes. The display name, this is what we're going to be pulling again from the form. The nickname, that's the one that we've created up here, the random one. The password, the nickname plus the domain is the principal name. And then the given name, the surname, again, we're going to be pulling from the form. Next step, we're going to be adding this user that we've created here and add them to the group so they can have access to the right team and get the right license. And this group ID is the one that we saw here on the AD. So going back into Contoso groups, the virtual fan experience. So this is for the fans themselves. You're going to be using this code and then paste it right into here. And then the user ID is the ID of the user that we've created here. Again, you just click on this space here and you can find all the information. Now we're going to notify this user saying, hey, congratulations, you're now part of the virtual experience. We're happy you're going to be joining us. Here's your username. That's the one that we just created. And here's your temporary password that we've also created. And we're going to give them some instructions.
Here is the App Store.
And we're going to give them some instructions saying, please download the Teams application and log on with your credentials. You need to change the password on first access. What we're also going to be doing is we're going to be notifying the admins in the Teams channel saying, hey, you have a new VIP fan that has joined the channel. This is their name, their email address, and then their principal name. So let's test this out. Let's add a new member. So let's test this out. We're going to add a new member. We're going to add Susan Boland, whatever that name is. She has an email address, susan@live.com. She has a phone number. No comments, but she is agreeing here on the form. We're going to click agree. Now what's going to happen now is there's going to be some provision in this provisioning tab. We'll soon see a new user that's being requested, and you can see it already here. So this is the adaptive card that we just created on the flow, and it's saying approve new request. Do you want to approve yes or no? We're going to click approve. could add some comments, but we're not using those anyhow. And we're going to click submit. Now what's happening in the backend is there's a new user that's being created and that's connected to Susan. And Susan is also getting an email saying, welcome to the team. So now Susan has her credentials, and all she needs to do is once she logs on, only thing she sees is this. She can go to general and she can see, hey, there's a DJ live set that's about to happen. So let's click here and jump into the actual event. So now here we are in Microsoft Teams. This is the event. As you see, the DJ is already there. He's ready to do his Q&A, DJ set. We'll get to him in a second. But let me show you what you need to do as a participant. So you click on the participant pane right here. And you can either pin DJ TLM or you can spotlight him. In this case, we've pinned him, so now he's always on your screen. The second thing that you need to do is move yourself into together mode. So click on the ellipsis, click on together mode. And now you'll see on one side, you'll see the together mode. So we're here in the virtual stand. And then on the other side, you'll still see, in this case, the performer, the DJ that is ready to perform his set. Now, if this video right here doesn't really scale to the frame, you just right click and you do fit to frame, and then you see that the DJ will be set up in the frame as he should. Now let's get to my man. Let me give you a proper introduction. Me and this guy have been rocking for 25 years. One of the best hip hop and R&B DJ that I know in the world, but definitely in our country. He has a big YouTube channel called DJ TLM TV. My guy, DJ TLM. What's up?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you here. There are two ways to set things up. We'll get into your setup in a second. You can set this up the software way, so you could use tools such as OBS, and they use the virtual cam to show whatever you want to show through a computer. But you can also set this up with some hardware. TLM, tell us how you set this up and what your setup is.
All right, so I do a lot of things with video, and a lot of times I also use multi-cam setups with multiple cameras. So for instance, I'm now using the main camera for my communication with my audience, but I also have an overview of my DJ set so people can actually see up close what I'm doing. Then I have just the total picture where you see the DJ and the setup, and I also have my computer screen so people can see my DJ software. So what I'm doing is all of the cameras are connected to the little box right here. It's a video switcher, and that is connected to the computer, and the computer will actually recognize this as, let's say, a webcam. So the computer sees one camera, but this allows me to use that one input to showcase 4 different angles for all purposes, from tutorials, webinars, to performances, and so on.
Right, and now you can also do the Q&A with the audience in their live, asking you questions. You can really get that interaction going.
Right.
Good stuff. Thanks so much, my man. We'll talk real soon. So there we have it. Now, besides just a regular video stream, you can set up real life experiences with live audiences right there in the virtual stands. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next one.